has been said that actions speak louder than words, but it's also been said talk is cheap. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah. Day number 1 of a double Torah portion that will end for us the book of Bamidbar and Numbers. The Torah portion is Matot, which means tribes, and Masei, which means journeys. Matot, Masei. Let's begin with the first part. We began in Numbers of Bamidbar, chapter number 30, in verse 1, which says, "And Moshe spoke to the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the word which Yahweh has commanded." Now again, just pause there for a second. This is not a suggestion. It's not an idea. This is not a concept. This is a command. This is much a command as keeping Shabbat, as honoring the feast days of Yah, as honoring your father and mother, as having no other Elohim before the face of Yah. This is a command. He says, when a man vows a vow to Yahweh or swears an oath to bind himself by some agreement, he does not break his word. He does all according that comes out of his mouth. The old school that many of us, and for me, not only myself, but especially my parents, my dad in particular, the old school thought is that a man and his word, they must be honorable. My dad, even if it wasn't contractually written down on a piece of paper, if he gave his word to you, to his own hurt, he would keep his word, and I've seen him do that before. So an obligation that we make with our mouth. We say, I promise. We watch movies on TV where it's a dire situation and one character will say to the other, we're going to be all right. We'll get you out of this. I promise. It's going to be all right. I promise. You can't make promises like that when you don't know how things are actually going to turn out. What you can promise is, I will do everything that I can to make this turn out right. We make promises one to the other. And then when the promises fail to be kept, I forgot all about that. Is y'all paying attention? Does it make a difference? It might be wise for us to watch how many times that we say, I promise, or I swear, I make an oath. The way I was raised, swearing, as in using profanity, and saying, I swear, well, that was just about one and the same. So we were never allowed to say, I swear, I'm telling the truth. Well, we're not supposed to do that according to what Mama said. Regardless, if you make an oath, if you give your word, you're not just speaking vowels and consonants out of your mouth. You are extending a part of your validity, your trustworthiness. You're putting your integrity and your honor on the line for what it is that you're saying. It's wise to use such phrases as, to the best of my understanding, based on what I have as information right now. This is what I know to be true. But then to make an oath or to swear allegiance or to strike hands over something beyond that, we need to be careful. Well, it's just words. Nowadays, words are cheap. But consider Bereshit chapter number 1. Everything that exists was brought into its existence and called forth from its created design by the words of Yah, our creator, of Elohim. In Yochanan chapter number 1, John chapter 1, we find out that it's not just air and vowels and consonants coming from the master's mouth. but it's actually the extension of his person, Yeshua, the spoken living word of Yah, made manifest in human flesh. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we understand that the word of Yah is not just print on pages, and it's not just fanciful preaching from pulpits, but it is the living embodiment of the truth of Yah in human form. Yeshua said, when Hasatan speaks, he is a liar. He is a liar from the beginning. And what he speaks to you, he says, are lies. He is the father of lies, the originator of lies. He lied to Chava in the garden, and he did it so subtly she didn't recognize that she was being lied to. The exact opposite, then, is Yeshua, the embodiment of truth. While he was teaching in Capernaum, Yeshua said, unless you eat the flesh of the son of Adam and drink his blood, you possess no life in yourselves. He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood stays in me, and I in him. And when the crowd heard these words, their response to these words were, this word, this truth, this extension of yourself to us, a revelation of you, is hard. Who's able to hear it? And most of the crowds went home. Yeshua intentionally threw words out there that would cause people to make a decision. Do I trust him for who he says he is? Or am I following him for the glory of the miracle parade and free food from a little boy's lunch? He looked at the 12 and he asked him, will you also go away? After he said, the words that I speak to you, they are spirit and life. Cephas said, Master, to whom shall we go? You possess the words of everlasting life. Your words, my words, can offer hope, compassion, instruction, healing. We can speak deliverance. We can speak the truth that people need to hear. Now, oftentimes we'll throw harsh truth out at someone and then say, I'm just telling you the truth. You don't have to deal with it. That should be a rare circumstance, in my opinion. Yes, truth does hurt, but it doesn't have to be necessarily a sledgehammer. Sometimes if you need to drive a nail, you don't need a large sledgehammer. A small regular hammer will do. And if you don't have a hammer, then you can take the shoe off your foot and still get the job done. Beating people over the head with the truth is rarely productive. And Yah says that you and I are going to stand and give an account of every word, every idle word that comes out of our mouths. What are your words saying? It's a little bit of a challenge today. Let's think about this. When you speak, do people immediately roll their eyes? Do they take a deep breath? Do they kind of sit back and hold their face? What is their response? Do they lean forward and then listen? I want to hear what you have to say. It's important that our words carry integrity and carry honesty and carry honor. Now we preach and we teach and we instruct to the best of our understanding. And then we gain better understanding, and sometimes we have to go back and say, I have a better way of looking at this, or I have better understanding of Scripture, and let me share that with you. That's our hope and our intention here at 10-Minute Torah. What I said last year, I may need to amend a bit this year, but my hope is to encourage you, to offer you light and life and hope, and to give you a sense that words have power. They're an extension of yourself. So put yourself out there. Speak the truth. Change somebody's life. We'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.